Hello, in today's tutorial I'm going to show you how to create a low poly geometric animal using Photoshop. So if we open Photoshop, and then you'll need to go and find an image of an animal. I spent a little bit extra time doing an advanced search on Google to get a a larger image, a better, more high resolution image to work on. So you might want to do the same. We don't need all of this. We need to crop out most of the fox's body and just concentrate on the face. So I'm just cropping away. And then I'm going to double click on the background layer to create a layer, and I'm going to go up here and then duplicate that layer as well. Now there are shortcut keys for everything, but sometimes students will start to use shortcut keys and then somebody will have defaulted them to do something else, and so I usually tend to show a mixture of shortcut keys but also then sort of alternatives. Okay, so when we get to this bit we need to go into the polygon lasso. Now when you look at it for the first time it may be on that symbol, so you just click on the little arrow down here and go into the polygon, and if this happens just join it and OK. So what you're going to do is, it can be a bit sensitive, and if you've got a very sensitive sort of skippy mouse, you may want to take a bit of time in sort of drawing around your animal in a bit more sort of careful detail. When you've joined up your selection, what you need to do is go to Command and Shift and I to invert it, and then just press delete. Now it may not appear that anything much has happened, but if I go to Command and D to get rid of the selection, you'll see if I hide the bottom layer, then we will have cut out the fox's face. So we're going to do a symmetrical fox's face, so we only want to do half of the face, and then we will mirror it later on. So if we go to the marquee tool, and I think what I'll do is delete this half, just hit the delete button and then Command and D. So we're only going to be working on half of the face. And so simply now, you just go back to the polygon lasso. You might want to go in a bit closer on your magnifying glass. Back to the lasso, and then you can just start drawing triangles. And they need to join. Then for the first time you do it, you go to Filter and Blur and Average, and then Command and D to get rid of it. And then for all the other triangles you want to do, you simply create one and then go Command and F and then Command and D. So a good idea would be to do a mixture of smaller and bigger triangles, and then really sort of build up the detail. And you can go over bits of triangles that you've done before. You don't even have to do triangles. I mean, you can do sort of four-sided polygons. So that's completely up to you. Okay. So simply Command and F and then Command and D. So what you would do, I'm not going to do all of this because obviously I don't have time, but then you will get to a point where you have completely covered all of your image with these little triangles. You can decide what you want to do about the eyes. You can cover them up, or you could, let's just get this, you could cut them out if you wanted to and get the kind of background layer. We could actually just simply brush that in. It's completely up to you what you want to do with that with the eye. Okay, take that back to where it was. And then what we need to do, well, there's lots of different ways. There's loads of shortcut keys that you can do, but the kind of most straightforward way, I suppose, is you go to edit. Sorry, you would marquee first, obviously. So marquee your fox face. Edit and copy. Edit and paste. And then edit and transform and flip that horizontally. And then using a drag tool, then you can kind of create your animal. Now it's really important that you do sort of select the animal, dead on the middle, because otherwise you may get, unfortunately, it's not a great image of this fox, is it? We might get rid of little pieces, and so you know what we can do? We put background colour in and maybe make those eyes the same colour as the background. So what you want to do then here is you've got these two layers with two different halves on it, both visible. The bottom layer is not visible, and then you can just go to layer and just merge the visibles. So now we've just got two. If we go to the bottom layer and hide the top one, we've got the original fox. If we go for something like quite a dark grey, we can simply let's go back to the bottom layer. If we then bring that back, you'll have a solid kind of layer behind your image, and then if you wanted to, you could match, the eyes to So we could match the eyes back to the background layer if you wanted to. So, and also you need to bear in mind that when you bring them back, let me just get the brush smaller. Now when you're going to spend some time doing all of your kind of triangles down one half of the face, but then, you are going to flip it. So you have to be aware that, if you do quite a large triangle down the edges of where they meet, then you're going to get this kind of biggish sections that when you bring it back. So try maybe and have a lot of smaller little details here, so it's not so you're not devoting a lot of time or a lot of space on the face to these big chunks of sort of colour. Okay. And then when you have put your colour in, you might not even want a background colour. It may be that you'll just want your animal's face on a white background, and then you'll do a white background for it. So let's go back here just for a second. If you're going to do that, I think it would be better that you didn't have a sort of little animal's face just floating about on your sway without anything kind of framing it. So just to make you aware that if you go to layer and then flatten it, so now we've just got one layer, and then again, I know it sounds a bit counterproductive, so you have 2 layers to start with, and then you merge them, and then you have to create another one. But I've tried this a few times, and sometimes, if you don't do it this way, the frame around the image, only 3 of the 4 lines come out for some reason. So it does seem a bit counterproductive to start merging things and then creating new layers. But this is the only way I know that it happens, that you get a frame all the way around it all the time. Just make sure it says inside. You might want a 1 or a 2 pixel border. And then flatten everything down. And then save as a JPEG. Okay, and that is essentially a very, very quick run through of how to create a low poly animal using Photoshop. Okay, and that's the end of the tutorial.